Folks, we'd like to get started. First of all, welcome to the South Jersey Men's Club meeting. We're going to do things just a little bit different from what I planned on the agenda because one of our guests has to leave. Each year we have, or many of the years, we have a law enforcement breakfast, and it gives the police and the community an opportunity to recognize their own for outstanding service. And we're always very proud of our contribution to this, and Mike Perloff doing a great job in organizing along with several others. So today we wanted to make our donation to the Camden County Scholarship Fund, Hero Scholarship Fund. And I'm going to ask Rich and Bob and Ed if you'll come up when Dawn Reagan's here representing the Hero Scholarship Fund.
Give her the rubber check.
Dawn has a very big wallet, so don't worry. But we're very pleased to present the Hero Scholarship Fund with a check for $250. And we know it'll go to a wonderful cause, and we appreciate all of the service that.
Okay, 1, 2,
4.
All right, good.
Did you put the film in the camera?
The breakfast is wonderful. We really appreciate it. It's so nice that an agency outside of the law enforcement community actually recognizes this guy. Everybody seems to want to find the bad that they do and exploit that. And it's so nice that your group actually recognizes the good that they do and appreciates it. And we do police, fire, and EMS. Anybody killed in the line of duty. So this is a big help to us. So thank you so much.
And we appreciate it.
Thank
Hey, Ed, does that say void also? No, he stamps that on after.
Okay, to get us sort of closer back on the schedule, I know we have a lot of guests from the Senior Men's Club. We're not going to have you introduce yourselves right now, but what I will ask you to do, if you're a member of the Senior JCC Men's Club, would you please stand? And if you would also lead us in, Hamotzi.
They don't get
that you could join us, and hope at some point you'll consider full membership with us if that's what your desire is. Other than the Senior Men's Club, do we have any new members that just joined today? Would you mind standing up, introducing yourself again, and telling us a little bit? Again, I know you did it before, but we have a lot of new people.
I live in Centennial Mills, and I've been coming, I guess, for a number of months, and I joined today.
Great. Great. What's that?
Tell us a little about himself.
Yeah.
Did he already?
Okay, you could tell us just a little bit about yourself, other than that occupation, former occupation.
I'm retired. I used to be a lawyer. Moved down here because my grandkids live down here. And they're enjoying it.
Where'd you move from?
North Colville, Essex County, where they filmed The Sopranos.
Great. Well, welcome aboard.
Actually, my wife was the location scout.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Make a story yourself.
Okay, we're going to go next to actual membership. Dick? Since that fits right into, Dick is our Vice President of Membership, and we have a number of
Sure it's not vice president?
goodies.
In charge of vice rather than membership? A couple of goodies. Well, first of all, thanks for joining. That's really great. Love to have you. I don't know if there's anyone else here that's thinking about it. We have any? I think he's the only one right now.
We're only one right now, I think.
Right. I have a whole bunch of name tags. I'm going to read them off because I'm terrible at remembering names. Thanks, Ed. Anybody else chime in? Feel free. Philip Aronow, Howard Goodman.
If you're here, please come on up.
If you're here. Herb Magnus. Thought he was here. Okay.
Yeah, Herb's over there.
Oh,
Herb is
okay.
there.
Great. We'll give you a name tag, Herb. I thought you were here. Ben Perloff,
No.
is he related to Mike?
Michael's son.
Oh, okay. How about that? And Joel Hammett? No,
Not here.
okay.
Okay.
All right, good. We also have T-shirts.
If you
logo.
have not received the T-shirt and are a paid member, would you mind, why don't you just come on up? And
We'll
we'll,
go through the mess we got.
we're not sure what size, so we'll see. If we don't have your size, we will be ordering more shirts.
Extra large, okay. Let's see what we get. This is extra large. I could use one. You could use one? Okay.
And if we run out, we will,
I think we're now out. No. You got a large? Wait a minute. Is that Larry?
while Dick is doing that, we ask that you wear your shirts. It's a way of identifying. When we do a project, it's really nice when people see us as a unit, as a group. So please, any function of the men's club.
Large, okay. There you go. Right on.
You only get one.
Now all we get are small. Try it on. It says large.
This is the old one.
The red ones that look like a Captain Cook.
I'll be right there,
Okay.
Rich. Let me give this to her.
And I, with a show of hands, one of the things the board is considering is whether we want to put the name South Jersey Men's Club on the back. Let me explain first. We like the idea that we have the logo that says South Jersey Men's Club, but the concern is whether it'll look more like a bowling shirt and actually take away from it. But the board will ultimately decide, but a show of hands, with your shirts, do you prefer that we maintain it just with the logo in front or have it on the back? So a show of hands, if you like just a logo in front. Give it. Well, that might take care of it right there. Names on the back? All right, well, that made that decision pretty easy. We're going to stay the way that is. Dick, do you have a number as far as total membership now, or?
Yeah, we're up to, total membership? No, that would be a Marty Raffner or Ed Stein
I would guess
question.
about 86.
Okay, about 86 people?
Right. I think we've maybe added a couple, obviously. We seem to add a couple every meeting.
Guys? Dick has a few more things.
Yeah, we had, thanks to the survey, by the way, if anybody hasn't filled out a survey form, please see me. There are two parts to it. There's the JAG part, the athletic part, if you're athletic, or even if you're not. Please fill it out. And we also have the part where we talk about activities and programs you might suggest and speakers. So if you haven't done it or don't remember if you've done it, please let me know. Be happy. We have plenty of forms to that we can give out. And the other thing that happened is, and by the way, we've had 54 responses, so that's been pretty good.
Very good.
The other thing is, last week, thanks to Bob Greenberg and, let's see, who else came? Steve Barsky and myself, we had a small meeting, but a very effective meeting of the marketing committee. We were really looking at three different things, which is one is the increasing attendance here, which, as you can see, we have a very nice turnout today, but we still want to talk to those members that have missed, let's say, the last 2 or 3 meetings and find out why. And then, of course, retention. People obviously slip through the cracks, some obviously for health or other reasons, but there are probably people that maybe for one reason or another, we just didn't do a good enough job, or I didn't do a good enough job in trying to convince them to stay as a member, because we think this is a great service that we do for all of us. We know our wives or our significant others. Over the years, we're very good at having relationships and with other women, and guys are the last ones to do that. So I think this is really a great opportunity for us guys to get together. And the third thing is, and this is the most difficult thing, is having some of the younger guys join. And we know it's very difficult to get them involved. They often have a lot of other responsibilities. It seems like a lot more than we had when we were, when we had our families. But, so that's the third part, and, is there anything, did I miss anything?
No, I think you covered
it all.
But, the strength of our organization is involvement. We ask each of you to some way be involved with something during the course of the year. That's little things add up to a lot. Just for example, if anybody here was involved with either putting up or taking down the sukkah outside the front, would you mind standing up? We had a great turnout putting up and dismantling the sukkah for the JCC. Guys, you could sit down for a second. If you were involved with the food distribution for the holidays, would you stand up? Again, this is what the involvement, that's what it's all about. So don't be shy in getting involved. If you have a new idea, we're always very interested and willing to consider it.
I can't tell you how much benefit you'll end up getting, a lot more than you will in terms of giving them the kind of resources often they need for their events. I think that it's just something really very positive about doing some volunteer work, certainly through our organization, or for that matter, any other. Bob?
Two things. One, I don't know whether you mentioned it, Dick, but we're trying to get our announcements in the Voice,
Oh, right.
so that you'll know about meetings. If you look at the Voice, we in the past had a little bit of a give and take with them about putting our stuff in the Voice, but we're trying to do that again. Besides, we're going to be submitting pictures and a short article about our meetings, so that they know what we've been doing.
Right. And I just sent a notice to the Voice about our November 30th meeting, I believe. Is that the date?
And
So
just
Bob's right.
one other thing, and you probably heard me grow up say this about 4,000 or 5,000 times, 600. We are a service organization. That's what we do. We try to educate, we try to service. We're not in for fundraising. We expect, if you're going to be a member, that you participate. There are many things that we do in the course of a year, and we expect that people will help out. It's good for you, it's good for us, it's good for the organizations that we support.
Great. Thanks, Dick.
Bob, who have you been speaking to at the Voice?
Yeah.
All I did was send an email to Jody about the November meeting.
I'll bump it up and I'll speak to you.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Also, just one other thing as far as membership, we're also considering a dinner meeting for Tuesday, March 24th or Thursday, March 26th. More information will be forthcoming on that, but we're looking at an opportunity to do something in an evening event, and that might help get some of our softball players.
Tell them why.
Well, I was just... we have a number of guys that participate primarily for athletics and softball, and it's sometimes difficult for them to come because they're playing especially on Sundays. So by having a fall or spring function at night, we're hoping to get some of our younger members out as well. But we're certainly doing it for our group too. Okay. Ed, want to give us a financial report?
We have about 30 members that have paid so far for the new year, and today there must have been at least 10 or 15 who paid. If you haven't paid your dues, and you're here today, I'm here for a check if you're ready. If not, we're going to send out bills now for the next meeting. So if you get a bill, if you would return a check to me so I don't have to chase you. Other than that, as you know, we presented the check this morning to Hero Scholarship. Our law enforcement breakfast was very successful. We were able to increase the amount that we paid from the 50/50. That was supposed to be, the proceeds were to be used for Hero Scholarship and for Goodwin Holocaust. We increased that amount to $500, $250 for each of the charities. So
We'll be giving out the Goodwood Holocaust at our next meeting, a check to the Goodwood Holocaust Museum.
Did you tell the new people how much it is to send the check for?
it was on the email, but it's $42. Yeah, you should have all gotten an email. If you're not getting emails for these meetings, I think Randy's here today. I saw him somewhere back there. Give him your email address, or give me your email address. You should be getting an email for every meeting. They're going out. I get them every time. If you're not getting them, we must have a wrong email address for you. Bob?
If you've moved, changed your telephone number, or changed your email address, we got to know about it.
I think other than that, we're in good shape.
Stay up here for one more second because I might need your help on this one. We are looking to start a committee.
Wait, this is important.
We are looking to start a committee called the Philanthropic, if I can say it, Fund Committee. Currently, Ed, we have a little over 2,000.
2,600.
I'm going to be circulating a sheet if you are interested in serving on the committee. The function of the committee is as follows. Determine the process, procedures, and timelines for donations. Research Jewish, Israel-related charities with low administrative costs. Recommend the total annual South Jersey Men's Club matching amount. And establish the annual cap per donation. We would really like to get about 5 or 6 people. It's a great opportunity to get involved. I want to start the sheet at the table at the right here.
Give a little history of that.
I'll let you.
Just so that you understand the reason for the committee. For years, we have been contributing to various organizations, but it's been on a more of an ad hoc basis. What we want to do is we want to have a better procedure. Our treasurer can properly budget for it. And we can make sure that we keep our fund properly replenished. Because our fund is through the foundation here, and we want to make sure that we keep that going because, quite frankly, it earns money. So the more money it earns, less we have to contribute to it. Like I said, we're not a fundraising, but any monies that we take in, we give out. And we give regularly to the Goodwin Holocaust Education Center, amongst other things. We've contributed to various Israeli funds, including IDF. So, I mean, this is what it's all about. And we could get some help with that because we need people to help us research these things and add some structure to it. When we say research, what we're really looking for is the committee to find those organizations that use the lowest percentage of the contribution for administration. Some of the funds that we've contributed to have no administrative costs. It's all volunteer. So, I mean, this is really what we're looking for.
Thank you, Bob. So that sheet is going around. Please, if you have the time, sign up for that. Believe it or not, we are actually in the process of planning a 25th anniversary breakfast for the South Jersey Men's Club. We've been in existence 25 years. And, you know, it's a wonderful, actually, I'm going to ask the past presidents, we almost have all of them here, but if you're a past president, Bob, Rich, Larry, please stand up. Dave, we have, only one we're missing is Mike Kroloff, I believe. Past presidents, so 25 years in existence, and the possible dates we're looking at are April 26th or May 31st. For those paid members, and this makes Ed so happy, our paid members, it'll be free. We're going to really celebrate. And more programming details will follow as we plan that out. Okay, Jewish Athletic Group. We refer to it as JAG. Dave Wynn.
Okay.
I'll stand here since I have the mic.
Okay. The current schedule has recently had a bowling tournament. We were one of the clubs in that tournament, and we participate pretty well. I don't know the bowlers that were there, but I think Barry Rosenberg, who's our vice president for athletics, was the team captain. I think Bethel was there too. Anyway, so that was the last thing. The next thing coming up is a tennis doubles tournament, which is on Sunday, the 9th of November. In our survey that was sent out to ask people to identify what they're interested in, we had 4 people that signed up to say they were interested in tennis. Now, the tennis tournament's going to be at the Cherry Hill Racket Club. It's going to be doubles, $34 per team. I sent out an email not only to everybody here, but also specifically to the 4 people that said they were interested. I've just talked to Larry Bernstein today, who's one of the 4 people. He said he had contacted Dave Singer, another one of the 4 people on the list. They're going to go out and try and see if they're compatible with each other, and if it works out okay, they're going to sign up and represent us in that forthcoming tennis tournament. And hopefully you and Dave will be able to form a team. The following event is...
Also, an update, just as I talked to you, Dick Goff is interested too, so he may join us on Tuesday for our South Jersey Men's Club tennis get-together / tryout.
Great, you hadn't told me that, so I'm glad
I
that...
just found out.
Okay, great. So that's 3 of the 4 people. Is Robert Bliss here? I don't think I know him. He was the 4th person that signed up. Okay. Now, the following thing in December is our pinochle tournament. We are the champs, and we've been the champs many, many times. Now, I see that in addition to me, we have Sid Schneps, Gary Sternberg here, Mike Perloff, and Alan Finkelstein are also on the team. I'm sure we're all going to be there. Let me ask you while you're here. We have it tentatively scheduled at Ner Tamid on a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. Is that fine, or should we move it to a Sunday where everything else is? Do you want Tuesday evening or Sunday? Which is better for you?
Well, the Eagles play on Sunday, so I get that.
Well, we make it on a Sunday, they don't play. But if Tuesday evening is okay, I'll continue following through on that.
How about when if the Eagles play during the day, you can make it that night?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, what?
Tuesday's fine.
Tuesday's fine? Tuesday's fine? Okay, so we're going to try and make it again. And Randy, who belongs to Ner Tamid, we've been basically dealing with Bruce Levin in order to get that. So those are the main events to finish out the season. As you all know, in softball, we made it to the finals, and we lost in the finals. But what the hell, we had a great season, right, Don?
Over 15 wins.
Okay.
Might want to drop me off here.
Thank you, Dave. Barry Rosenberg is currently serving as our Vice President of Athletics, and he's really inundated. He would really like for us to find his replacement so he and Dave can train them. If you have any interest in doing that again, we would really appreciate the help. Things only get done unless when somebody makes it happen. So you don't need previous experience. Dave is here, and Barry would be more than happy to to go over things and help somebody transition into it. One of the things that's great is when we get a new member, they come with new ideas. And that's really wonderful. That's, I think, another strength of our organization. And we had somebody who just joined a couple of meetings back, got actively involved right away with fantasy football. And he has an idea, and I'm going to ask Mike Rigler to speak about his idea for a golf tournament. Mike?
Okay.
I want to stand next to you because I have the mic.
Yeah, okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Michael Riegler. As Don said, I'm a pretty new member. And I'll give you a little background about myself so you'll understand why we're going in this direction. I worked for New York Times for 28 years. During my tenure at the New York Times, I was a foreman electrician, plus I was director of operations for their golf association. I did outings all around the world for the New York Times. I've recently just retired from another organization called Four Seasons Golf Outings, which encompassed all the Hovanian building, you heard of Hovanian builders, communities. The purpose for me talking about this today is we are going to try, I'm going to send this sheet around to see how many people would be interested in this particular group and some invitees, like your family, your brother, your sister, that would want to play golf. I have some country clubs of mine in the local area where we wouldn't have to travel very far to have this outing. The outing would basically include an expanded continental breakfast, golf cart, bottle of water, granola bar on the cart, because we're not youngsters no more, you might need a little bit of nourishment while you're playing. It would have a full buffet luncheon, plus some prizes. This can take place, because it takes about 9 months to arrange the right type of tournament, and a committee would be formed if we go in that direction. So right now, we got, unless you have any questions, that's what we're trying to achieve today, to find out the interest involved in having a golf outing. For example, Dave here, if he said he's going to play in it, but can I bring my brother and sister? Answer is yes. You know, so to talk about that. Go right ahead, Rich.
I've been involved with a few golf outings.
Good, so you can work first.
I will be on the committee. But Mike, you know, it's also a way that you can generate income, you know?
Well,
and do we do it just for our club at the beginning, or do we open it up like to all the men's
Well,
clubs?
here's what we're talking about today. I can go into all that, and I even brought some flyers that we used in the past, you know, to get sponsors, to sponsor some holes, and that would help pay for the prizes. So this is not the kind of stuff we want to discuss today. That will be discussed in committee, because we really don't know a price yet. We really don't know where we're going to be yet. But I want to see how much interest is generated from our group here, because like Dave said, we have 85, 90 members. And actually, I just finished running a golf outing at Ramblewood Country Club for 210 people. You know, with prizes and everything. And here's the paperwork.
That was last month, and I just finished 18th hole.
This is the paperwork from that outing, if anybody would like to see me after I speak, and I can show you more about it. But I'm going to send this paper around. Those of you who are interested or have a brother and sister that want to play, you know, in the outing. One thing though, if you're bringing people, you got to play as in that foursome. You know, that would only be right. You just can't bring in strangers to play in a closed group like this. So if you're going to play in the foursome, you're welcome to bring 3 other people to join. The price would be moderate. I have a ballpark figure because I've run so many outings. I know what these things cost. But if anybody would like to see me after I speak and then have additional questions, that'll be fine. Sir, you had a question?
Ed had a
Ed,
question.
I think that you already, I was wondering if eventually we could open it up to the other men's club and make it a JAG activity. But I
Well,
think
that
way
stuff,
down the line.
right. That stuff we have to discuss once we see the interest involved here. Because we would be the mother group. It would be run from the South Jersey Men's Club, not from JAG. They can be on the committee, those people. They can have input, naturally. But basically, it'd be run from our club right here. Any additional questions?
just a show of hands, how many people think they'd be interested in actually playing?
And bring some people with you, you know. All right.
Good start, yeah.
So I'm going to start.
Why don't we start it over here?
Yeah, I'll give my pen.
Okay.
So thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to start the paper over here.
Guys,
Point of information.
oh,
Go ahead.
Point of information.
Go right ahead.
The JCC already has a major golf tournament scheduled for May 15th. So if you want to keep that in mind.
For May 15th.
May 15th.
we're looking at the fall.
We're looking at the fall.
Yeah, you want to.
We're looking at the fall for a couple of reasons, as long as you brought it up. What is your name? Barney, I'm Michael. The reason for that is we can get more opportunity in the fall for lower price in some country clubs, because naturally their season goes from April, May, you know, to the end of August. We're thinking about either going up until the first week in October, because don't forget we have Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in September, and that I don't know exactly the dates, but in that time frame. So we'd have to work that out with any country club that we decided that we take an interest in.
Plus, there's a lot of planning.
You know, there's a lot of planning involved here. Are there any other first questions?
Great.
Okay, I'm going to send this sheet around.
Started on this side.
And if anybody has more questions, I have outing information from the last outing we ran, if anybody would like to see it.
And Mike runs a great tournament. I've been at 4 or so, and very well run.
But at Four Seasons Golf Outings, we've just finished our 5th annual tournament. So we've been doing this, well, I've been doing it for 30 years, but other people that come on the committees have been on the committee for those 5 years, and every year they get to learn more and more of how we run a golf outing. But I'm going to start right here. Again.
Thank you, Mike.
This is around. If you need more room, right on the back.
A quick fantasy football update. Again, we started our league 2 years ago. This is our 2nd year. We have 8 teams. The guys that are involved are having a lot of fun. We have, I think, 4 or 5 people monitoring as silent owners for possibly getting their own team next year going to 10 to 12. But what I would like to do, I would like to ask, if you are a current owner that has not lost this season and is in first place. Oh, Ed. Ed is undefeated, 7-0. And who are you playing today? The team in 2nd place. 2nd place, which is... I'm 5-2 with my son.
He's way ahead of you from Thursday night's game right now.
But this is a fun social thing. You know, we have 8 teams. We love it when you get your relatives involved. And we really do enjoy it. You don't need to know football. The only thing that's really important, again, is the health of your players primarily. You know, that's the bottom line in luck. So that's the fantasy football. Ed, JCRC? Jewish Community Relations Council.
Okay, before I get into my JCRC report, just a reminder, we collect eyeglasses, phones, cell phones, what else? Toiletries. We also have a book exchange and a music exchange in the back for those of you who care to read real books and listen to good music. A question came up, and I'd like a show of hands. Somebody had suggested actually adding to this procedure coupon exchanges. And I was wondering, to what degree, besides the women in your lives, anybody be interested
not the men.
Yeah. Anybody interested in exchanging coupons? No hands? Okay. That's
You did your job.
No hands, but a lot of Grettles.
Actually, at some point, I was speaking to Nelson, there's a military coupon exchange. I might want to introduce it if we could give it to the military. The problem is getting it to the Fort Dix facility. Also, if you remember, we did a Bible study, and I now have the book and the CD. If anybody would like to borrow that, see me after the meeting. If not, Rich Moskowitz has asked for it. So anybody who wants...
I've had it before, I haven't finished it with the length, but
It's really interesting stuff. A few things maybe I didn't agree with sometimes, but it's a good CD. Yeah.
Spoilers, surprising.
Yeah.
In terms of the Jewish Community Relations Council, which you know, besides supporting the Holocaust Museum, their main function is to promote goodwill among all the divergent groups in the community. Lately, their primary focus has been on Israel advocacy. And one of their issues is, how do you respond to people who are questioning Israel's politics and military posture? There's going to be, and Randy, I already sent out a notice once, I'll ask him to do it again. There's going to be a program with the U.S. Director of Israel Education, Ziv Ben-Zachar, Fundamentals of Israel Advocacy, giving you guidance on, first of all, bringing you up to date on our position and Israel's position regarding the conflicts in the Middle East. It's November 2nd. There's a student session at 5 o'clock, and there's an adult session at 7 o'clock. It's free. There's going to be refreshments. It's going to be at this building, and I'll send that around. At your table, I also put a little pamphlet which will give you some guidance on how to answer questions, especially criticism about Israel's position in the Middle East. And there are too many questions for us to go into now, but Rich and I are going to do a little bit of point-counterpoint right now. So here are a list of few of the questions that you might have to encounter if people are questioning you about Israel. Question number one, aren't settlements the main obstacle to peace?
The main obstacle is Palestinian refusal to accept Israel's existence as a Jewish state. There were no settlements when Palestinians began attacking Jews in the 20s, or when Arabs launched wars to destroy Israel in 1948 and 1967. Israel removed all settlements from Gaza in 2005, but got only escalating terrorism in return.
Isn't Israel stealing Palestinian water?
Israel is giving some of its own water to the Palestinians, as it is agreed in the Oslo Accords, even surpassing its commitment by giving twice as much as was specified.
Shouldn't Israel divide Jerusalem to create a Palestinian capital?
Israel made such offers in 2000 and 2008. The Palestinian leaders said no. Jerusalem has been Judaism's capital and holiest site for 3,000 years, and only Israel has ensured freedom of worship for all religions. From 1948 to 67, Jordan occupied Jerusalem, destroyed Jewish homes, and barred Jews from holy sites. They even knocked down Jewish tombstones to make their roads.
Amen to that. Lord, if I may, 1968, they showed it on NBC Nightly News, how the tombstones were on the ground and people were walking on them.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill. Aren't Palestinians being evicted from Jerusalem to make room for illegal Israeli settlements?
Evictions occur when tenants don't pay rent or homes are built illegally. The law applies equally to Arabs and Jews. Arabs can rent or buy homes throughout Jerusalem, and Jews should be able to do the same.
This is the last one of about 25 questions. I'm going to read some of these next time. Given America's economic problems, shouldn't we stop giving money to Israel?
Israel is a critical strategic and economic asset to the United States. It is America's only democratic ally in the Middle East, and Israel must spend 75% of American aid in the United States, creating jobs for tens of thousands of Americans, as well as infusing hundreds of millions of dollars into the United States economy.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, guys.
There's one of these at each table or more. If you're interested in getting some more on your own, there is a website, standwithus.com. Here, Dick, if you need.
I think we should maybe make these available to all the members.
We'll try to get more.
Okay, I'll try to do more as well.
It's good to have these talking points, you know.
Guys, next, if the unfortunate circumstance where there's a passing in your family, please let us know, because we will readily go out and, assist with the Shiva call. So please, just let us know.
I just mentioned, I had to do a Shiva call in Brooklyn. They didn't have anything, so I got the books and we brought them up to Brooklyn and we took care of that this week as well.
Nelson?
Just real fast, considering the Shiva calls. I know we've been talking about what we do for the community as a group, but my sister passed away last month, and I have to say, it's a tremendous response from this group as an individual. Come to my house for Shiva, letters, cards, everything, phone calls. And it really makes me feel that it was the right decision to join South Jersey Men's Club. So thank you all for responding, and everybody that's a member.
Thank you, Nelson.
Don, do you want to just mention the mitzvah card
Oh.
again in case, or do you
Well,
want?
all right, well, I'll let you can mention.
What Nelson's talking about, and I don't know if you all know, we talked about it a number of times, there's a mitzvah card, Chairman, I think
Len?
Yeah.
Len, just stand up.
Len's
Just,
here. And what we do is we let Len know that we want to send a card to someone who has either a mitzvah or bereavement. It's $5 for the card. Len gets them right out, and it's very nice. I know, obviously, the members appreciate them. So just let him know. If you need his email address, grab him before you leave. And
Those numbers on the website also.
Okay.
Marty, would you like to give us an Israel trip update? We're getting close to being finished as far as that we'll have her speak.
This is real quick. As I mentioned at the last meeting, I was going to contact the Guild Travel Agency in Philadelphia. And I did so, and I spoke to a woman over there who was planning some of these trips, for instance, for people from my synagogue. And so anyway, I talked to her, and she sent me a sample itinerary, one which potentially could be October 13th through the 24th of next year. Essentially, it's 10 full days in Israel, excluding the travel to get there and come back. And the rate right now would be about, for a 4-star, would be about $2,700, and it'd be about $3,200 for a 5-star, plus airfare. And the reason she didn't give airfare, she says, many of you people may have points, you might want to use it that way, etc. Now, this is not where you're going on a big bus. This is going to be a personalized tour with a minivan or sedan or whatever it is, depending on the number of people. Of the 10 days, half of them you get breakfast and dinner, and the other half you just get breakfast. So you go wherever you have to go to get dinner. Just to give you an idea, it's Tel Aviv, Jaffa, Caesarea, Akko, Haifa, Golan Heights, Jerusalem, Masada. That's what? Savat. Yeah, except I can't find it, but it's En-Gedi. I think it's a good deal, and obviously it can be cheaper if there's more people, because you're paying essentially for the guide, who's probably the guy who's also driving the van or whatever it's going to be in. So I'm going to give to Randy, I'll send him an attachment, but I have some copies if you want just a typical, essentially, itinerary. Doesn't mean we're going to do this, all right? At some point in time, let's say argumentatively we have 5, 6 couples, we'll get together and we'll say, hey, we want something else, or we don't want this, or we want to add on. And she mentioned that we could add on with no problem, A-Lot and or Petra. So, see me if you have any further questions or if you want a hard copy.
Thank you, Marty. Did everybody get a chance to sign up for the golf? If you haven't, please do so. Also, while I'm on that, 50/50s, if you haven't, Steve Barsky or Barry, if you'll see them. Dave, JFCS? No, the other Dave. Then I'll come back to you.
As most of you know, we've been working on getting a program, or rather working with the JFCS to assist in a program that they have. They are kicking off, and I'll just read a sentence or two. They're kicking off a program that's called Take the Wheel Veterans Transportation Program. It reads like this: the Take the Wheel program enlists volunteers to provide safe, reliable transportation to and from medical and wellness appointments, including the local Veterans Administration facilities. We've been invited. I have to say there's a limited number of seats. I'm not sure how many, but I am going to pass this around if you're interested in going.
To the ribbon cutting ceremony.
To the ribbon cutting ceremonies, Wednesday, November 12th at 10 in the morning. It's from 10 to 11, and I think there's going to be refreshments.
And it's
there's gonna
right
Here.
around the corner, right here.
A bunch of people are going to be there to kick it off. Steve Sweeney, President of the New Jersey Senate, Diane Allen, Jim Beach, et cetera. So I'll pass this around. If you're interested in going, please sign up. And I'll confirm whether we can all go.
Okay. Now, Dave, ABC report.
As you probably know, I'm on the committee of the Arts, Books, and Cultural Festival here at the JCC. And we have come up with a process where every year for the Arts, Books, and Cultural Festival, we identify a men's event, an event that is of particular interest to men, and we buy 10 tickets. We get 10% off on those tickets, and hopefully we can sell them to you. The event is on your table, and it's everybody on that table has a sheet which says
The colored sheet says sports.
sports night
That's it over
at the
there.
JCC. The event, and this kind of ties in with what Mike said, is about an author who was a caddy at St. Andrews, and he talks about his life with gals and fooling around and everything else. Supposed to be very funny, and you know, golf is not funny, but apparently he's funny. So it's an event that we think will be of tremendous interest. There are other men's events there. There's another event which we don't have tickets for, dealing with a big corruption scandal in Philadelphia, and obviously we have plenty of them over there. There's another one about a guy that takes photographs in a lot of very interesting places. Then we have Larry Miller, who's a very funny comedian, on Saturday night, and the following Saturday night we have The Stars of David, which is a show based upon a lot of the Jewish stars that have been on television and Broadway stage. But anyway, we now have 10 tickets for the speech on golf and so forth. And I'm going to be sending it around. Hopefully we can sell them all. We've paid for them already, but we need to sell them to you. So I'm going to pass it out, and hopefully it'll go around. And just like the golf thing, hopefully everybody takes a look at it.
Dave, why don't you
If
start it
interested,
on the
sign
right? That way it'll,
Start over there?
yeah, that way it'll sweep this way.
Okay. Please, after the table's finished, please head up to the next table. If you need a pen, I have a pen here.
Anything else? Or
Okay. No, that basically is it.
great. Okay, Dave, would you come up and introduce our speaker?
A few months ago at a board meeting, we were talking about the importance of this group knowing what the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs does and how they help us, and at the same time what we can do to be more involved in being involved with them. So we have the pleasure of Bruce Tomar, past president of the Federation of Jewish Men's Club, presently chairman of club services, something like that. And Cherry Hill resident, a lot of you know him, and I want to thank you for coming out on a Sunday morning to be with us.
So, I know a great many of you here this morning. I don't know if everybody knows me. I'm Bruce Tomar. I am a past president of Bethel Men's Club. I am past president of the Middle Atlantic region, which you are a part of. And I'm currently the club services chairman for the SJMC. Does everybody know what SJMC is? No. Okay. You need a lot of books. Luckily, we have a lot of books here.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the FJMC, which is the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs, and let me get my presentation out here. I think we have a few hours because the game's not until 4 o'clock, so we're good.
Excuse me, you gotta elevate the... Yes, what we're doing right.
Yes. And we have books. This is good.
You also have coupons.
They're great.
Okay. The FJMC, which stands for the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs, is the parent organization of about 15 regions throughout the country. The Middle Atlantic region is one of them, and your club is a part of that region. We have 19 clubs in this region, and from what I see, this is a very strong and active club. And I've been listening to your agenda this morning, and I'm seeing a lot of good things coming along. My job today is to fill you in on what you can possibly get out of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs that you may not be aware exists for your benefit and for you to utilize. So just as an introduction, the FJMC, their motto, our mission statement is involving Jewish men and Jewish life. And the reason I drew it in a triangle is because it's not a one-way street. The FJMC, the MAR, which is our region, and your club are a partnership. And everything that we do at the international level, and everything we do at the regional level, and everything you do at the club level is all intertwined. We are a grassroots organization, and by that I mean that everything you do is important to the parent organization. Many of the programs which I'm going to show you today came from clubs just like yours, and they were so fantastic that they became a part of the International Programming Committee. Oh, it works. That's cool. All right, just to give you a brief history of what the FJMC is. Started in the mid-1920s by then Director of the United Synagogues of America, Rabbi Samuel Cohen. His vision was that leaders of conservative men's clubs could come together to share ideas that would help them in their common needs. And thus was born the National Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. Originally housed at the JTS, Jewish Theological Seminary, and funded by the United Synagogue Group, the group focused on clubs mostly in New York and Philadelphia because that's where they were closest to, until 1952 when Albert Jacobson became president of the FJMC, and he was from Chicago. Since then, the NFJMC, which is hard to pronounce, then started to move out across the country, and in 1967, Federation separated from United Synagogue, and in 1983, with the addition of Canadian clubs, the Federation became truly an international organization and changed their name from the NFJMC to the FJMC, which is how we know it today. Some other red letter dates that you may not be aware of, which are just historically cool. 1931, the first men's club convention, first developed as an annual event until 1979 and is now held every other year. And we have a convention coming up in July of 2015, which hopefully you can be part of. 1937, development of the Club President's Manual. An excellent, it was just reorganized a little bit, so it's a tremendous volume that you should partake of. I don't know if you've downloaded it. It is on the website. 1941, creation of the first magazine specifically for the conservative movement called The Torch, later changed to The Torchlight, which many of you probably have heard of or have read. 1945. This was a big one. The JTS hired Rabbi Joel Geffen, you probably have heard of him, as its spiritual leader. And under his guidance, the seminary started a campaign to build synagogue leadership through men's club. His memory is honored to this day through the Rabbi Joel Geffen Leadership Development Institute, known as LDI, which is held every January to train leaders in a regional men's club. 1949, the Middle Atlantic region, US, was formed. We received our charter. 1961, first organized trip to Israel by a conservative Jewish organization was sponsored by FJMC. Skip down a little. 1981, Rabbi Charles Simon. I'm sure you've all heard of him. He's the executive director of the FJMC. And the MAR built the first indoor center at Camp Ramah in the Poconos. And to this day, we're still raising funds to help Camp Ramah through our Tour de Shuls initiative. 1983 was the beginning of the Yom HaShoah Candle Program, which I know you partake in. And then there's a few others. Let's move along. This is cool. What we do, from our original mandate to build a network of men's clubs in order to strengthen Jewish home, synagogue, and the conservative movement until our current mission statement involving Jewish men and Jewish lives. Our continuing mission is to provide a network and resources for you, the men's club, to continue to strengthen and grow. All right. So, how do we do this? See outlined here quite a few programs and activities, and I'm just going to go through them briefly just to give you an idea. Some of the names you're probably already familiar with. You've been doing them, you just may not realize where they came from. The Yom HaShoah Candle Program. And I know in the past you've been very active in the candle program. It's a great program. You buy your candles, get a discount by the end of December. You hand them out on your Yom HaShoah. And I know you've been doing that through the JCC for a number of years. And I hope that continues. Worldwide Wrap, which this year is February 1st, Super Bowl Sunday. I would hope that, please take, this was also, I'm thumping here. This was also a grassroots program at one time. Started at a men's club level, is now an international program. Started out as a 100-man wrap. And now around the globe on this particular day, there's thousands of people who wrap, and hopefully you'll have a worldwide wrap program either here with your club, or if you can pair with another men's club, that would be fantastic. Men's Club Shabbat, which is traditionally held on Shabbat HaKodesh. This year is March 21st, 2015, and again, if you would pair with another men's club and be part of their synagogue group, that would be great. If you want to run your own service, that would be fantastic too. Convention this coming year is in Miami from July 8th to the 12th. I can't say enough about how much you could learn about men's club at convention. And, just listening to you this morning about having people come out to make Shiva calls, we're actually starting a new initiative at this convention to train people to be lay leaders at Shiva at morning. So this is something you would definitely be interested in. Keruv was developed to address the growing needs of intermarrieds and their families. There are a number of books which come under the literacy program. There's a number of articles. There's a number of, I think some of you might even be Keruv leaders. I'm not sure. But if you have intermarrieds or if you know somebody who is and they need counseling, this is a good way to provide it and they bring those people closer into the group. Shomrei Haaretz. Since we constantly wrestle with large issues, there's none larger than the earth and the environment. Our actions affect the personal health and personal health of ourselves and our communities. This is a very strong outreach organization you have here, and Shomrei Haaretz is a perfect way to get out into the community, to get out into the the JCC and make yourself heard. Doing that. Hearing Men's Voices. This is a fantastic program. Costs very little money. There are books available for it. And all it is men coming together to discuss things that are pertinent just to men. And you could run an entire meeting just doing that. Each table could be its own little group. There's a number of tables here. Each table could run a different group, a different topic each time you come together. It's a great way to get men involved. Like I said, the books are available through the SJMC and the MAR, and I'll get into that later, how you can partake of that. Hador Haba is a programming for young men, and there are a tremendous amount of programs available through the Torch Awards and through the SJMC website. The literacy programs, Ritual, Hebrew, The Art of Jewish Living, there's a variety of books that you can partake of that will help you do programming, that will help you, I saw you had the Ten Commandments program. Well, there's a lot of them, and a lot of different programs which you can have discussion groups on and do training on. Israel Affairs, which I know you do already, but also there are a lot of other programs out there through the SJMC that you may not be aware of, which would increase your knowledge and increase your participation. Thank you. A new initiative is the wellness program, which is designed to help men get in shape. A number of years ago, when one of our past international presidents was retiring, he looked around the room and saw that the average guy there couldn't see their belt buckle. Present company accepted. And he said, guys, we have to do something to make sure we're around for our children, for our grandchildren. And so he started the Wellness Initiative, which is designed to increase our knowledge of healthy way of living, exercise, diet, and positive outlook on life. And lastly, a very new initiative is the Masorti Olami, which is our participation in the Jewish community throughout the world. One of the great programs that we have for SJMC is called the International Kiddush Club, and we pay an annual dues. We meet at convention, and all the proceeds go to purchasing tefillin and talesim for countries other than outside ourselves, mostly in South America. There's a lot of clubs there that can't even afford to buy a prayer book, and we help them with that. And then lastly, our publications, which you're probably aware of because you already belong to an MAR organization, CJ Magazine, The Unraveler, and the HaShofar. Okay, so you're part of the MAR, which is the Middle Atlantic region, and what we do is besides promoting SJMC programs, we have a few of our own which you can partake in, and it'll help you with training. One is our retreat. We have a retreat on the non-convention years, so hopefully our next retreat will be in the spring of 2016. And what we do is we get together with 3 other regions, and we have a lot of ruach, a lot of training, and a lot of scotch. So it's well worth it to come out to that. It's like a mini convention. You'll meet a lot of guys from different clubs in your own region. You meet a lot of guys from clubs in other regions. It's a fantastic way to exchange ideas and learn new programs. Our Man of the Year dinner, which is coming up this December 7th, is a wonderful program in that it's not a program where you have to do anything. You just come and meet other guys. You have an honoree. I know you've done so in the past. Honor somebody in your own men's club, come out and network with other people in other clubs in your own region, see what's going on in the region. Tour de Shul, which I know you've been involved in. Alan Finkelstein has been a very strong proponent of that, and you've helped with it in the past. Well, over the last 2 years, the MAR has raised over $60,000 for Camp Ramah. This past year, I think we've raised that by itself, and we're going to continue to grow stronger. And I know you guys all support Camp Ramah and Jewish organizations, and hopefully you'll continue to be part of that and come out and join a riding team for this coming September. And lastly, regional training. The MAR has done for the last 2 years having our own personal LDI, which is Leadership Development Institute. And we've had great participation over the last 2 years, and we would like you to come out and join us, learn some new things. It's a great training. I'm sure we're going to do it. We've done it the last 2 years in January, February. We will probably do so again this year. And when you see the invitation, send a representative or a couple representatives. It's well worth your time to learn what's going on in not only the region, but good programming. This past one, back in February, I brought back some great handouts from the convention, which I brought some of them with me today to give to Don. And it's a good way to learn what's going on out there. Okay, moving right along. All right, awards. Now, these are more than just awards. The Torch Award, which you've won on several occasions, is a great treasure trove of programming ideas. Just following the directions of just the winners, you will have programs galore for many years to come. There is a bibliography on the website of different programs throughout the years that you can follow in many different categories. I think there's about 15 or there's about 20 different categories. And I know you do a lot of outreach. There's a lot of programs that would fit right into your program. And the Quality Club Award, if you don't even apply for the award as an award, and I brought the criteria which you would have to follow to get the award. If you just followed it as a checklist, this gives you a great opportunity to judge your own club, what you're doing, what you could be doing, and how you can strengthen what you're doing already. It's a fantastic checklist. It's just a page long. Gives you an idea of what programming you should be looking at, what programming you could try, and how you could become, how to get more people involved.
Chris,
Yes.
am I correct in saying that our club is not eligible for some of those, like the Torch now, because one of the criteria is affiliation with the synagogue?
No, you're still eligible for a Torch Award. When you won your Torch Awards in the past, you weren't part of a synagogue. You were accepted. Your men's club is a very unique men's club, and you have been accepted as being, a part of the MAR, and therefore you are eligible. And if anybody tells you that you're not eligible, I'll talk to them, or you'll talk to me. But you are eligible to have a Torch Award.
I think there's a little difference with the Quality Club, though. Since we're not a synagogue club, many of the criteria relate to being part of a synagogue. We can't meet those criteria, therefore we can't come up the highest levels for quality points.
No, we'll work. I'll work on that. Like I said, you have a unique situation here, and I don't want you to feel that you wouldn't qualify just because you don't belong to a synagogue. And I want you to not. I don't want you to think that this is not something that you could use. It is something you could use. It's something that would work very well for your club. And I'll look into what other criteria there is. But as far as I'm concerned, you can apply. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason why you shouldn't be acceptable. Yes.
I was going to say one of the strengths of our organization is believe it or not, is we're not affiliated. I happen to belong to a temple, but we have a number of members probably not participating, and that's becoming, unfortunately, in some ways more common today than in the past. And I was wondering, is your organization maybe they need to take another look at that, because even your magazine has a very, and I used to be conservative, I'm now reformed. Is your organization starting to take a closer look at that and maybe open up some of its criteria in that regard so that other clubs like us might become part of your organization?
That actually is something that we have looked into, and it's something that's being discussed, because there are areas in this country where you can't have a region, and that you could have a club standing alone by itself. And whether that club actually belongs to a synagogue or not, I don't know. But you are a unique men's club, and I mean that complimentary. When this club started out, you were part of a synagogue, BJBI, and when that synagogue folded, your men's club remained strong and viable, and you were accepted by not only the Mid-Atlantic region, but you were accepted by the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs as being a standalone organization. And so because of that, you're eligible for anything that anybody else in FJMC is eligible for. Yes, Bob?
Bruce, are there any clubs that are associated with either JCCs or Ys rather than synagogue?
There are because I'm listing the number. I'm listing synagogues in my mind that I know of in other regions, and a lot of them go under the name of Jewish Center.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're necessarily synagogues or if they're community centers, but they're listed as Jewish centers. And it just may be because the town is small and the JCC and the synagogue may be one unit. I don't know. Yes, sir.
A question from the last, your last statement. The retreat, that's for all the men's clubs of the whole country? That's for all
the retreat, many different regions have retreats. Our region, Middle Atlantic region, has a retreat in conjunction with New York Metro and the North Jersey region. But anybody who's a member of our region can go to that retreat. It's not just for officers, it's for anybody in the clubs.
And who will notify the president? Who will notify when the...
Your president will be notified. Well, you'll actually get a mailing because you'll get a mailing. You're supposed to get a mailing from anybody who has an email gets a mailing from the Middle Atlantic region.
What part of the year does it usually...
It's in the spring. It's usually early in the spring, like late May, early June. Barney?
No, I was just wondering if you could ask for a show of hands, how many people do get CJ Magazine, and how many people get our so far, communications via email from the national organization.
How many people do get CJ Magazine? Okay.
I haven't gotten that. I've sent my new address in, but nobody's sent me anything.
Okay. Well, you'll give me your name and an address, and I'll check into that for you.
The leadership has to mail.
If you also go to LinkedIn and take the FJMC LinkedIn site, you'll also get access to that.
I would suggest that the leadership should be sending a mailing list.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go over that a little bit later as to how that works. Jerry.
Quality Club Awards. Maybe you can mention who manufactures them for the club.
In case you were wondering, the beautiful plaques that you receive for a Quality Club Award are manufactured by our very own Jerry Amdor. And he also does a fantastic job on name pins.
Yes.
And I recognized yours as soon as I walked in the door. All right, so let's put it all together. I know you have shopping to do and coupons to spend. Let's put it all together. So, first off, convention. If you get a few representatives to convention, you will gain unbelievable knowledge. You will meet clubs from around the country and Canada and probably South America, and I think there was a club there. We had a club from Mumbai 2 conventions ago, so Mumbai, India. So yeah, get to meet a lot of different people, network with a lot of different people, get ideas from a lot of different people, and of course, the Torch Award. You'll meet the Torch Award winners. You'll get descriptions of how their programs work, and there's a lot of great programming out there. Retreats. Come to a retreat. If you enjoy Scotch, you'll enjoy the retreat. If you enjoy Ruach, you'll enjoy the retreat. If you're learning like learning new things, you'll enjoy the retreat. It's very laid back, and last year we were at this a new retreat facility out near Gettysburg. The name escapes me at the moment, but it was a fantastic facility, and we got a lot out of it. Regional training. Come to it. Send a representative. If you can't all come, that's fine. Send one of your vice presidents. Send your treasurer. He will bring back to you invaluable knowledge. Okay, so what you can do as a club. Okay. Follow the Quality Club checklist. Even if you don't apply for the award, the checklist gives you an idea of programming, where you can be, where you have to be, where you should be. Utilize the club president's manual. You don't have to print it out. It is on the website. You can download it. You can read it right on the website. Gives you templates on how to. I know you know how to run an organization, but it gives you templates on ideas on how to put together different programs. Gives you ideas on how to put together different organizations. Success planning, very important to most clubs. You don't think about it, but you need to have a good succession plan. Consult the website, sjmc.org. Know it. Everything I've told you today is right on this website. It's just a treasure trove of unbelievable programs that if you're not partaking of them, you're not even hitting the tip of the iceberg. You're doing great things here. I'm listening to your agenda this morning. There's so much more out there that you can do. Use the Winning Torch Award programs. That stands by itself. Just use those programs and you'll have a plethora of information, plethora of programs. Talk to other clubs. The website has a club president's blog. I don't know if it's probably underutilized, but if you want to talk to other club presidents, even in this region, call me or call David Breslau, who's the president of the region, and he'll give you the name and phone number of any other men's club president in this region. Talk to them. See what they're doing. See if you want to, do a program together with another club. Partake of training opportunities like convention, retreats, regional training. Just send a couple representatives. You'll come away with so much. So what do we do as the FJMC and the MAR? What can we do to help you? All right, one, we have a membership initiative. I have a handout for you, Don, that was written by David Breslau last year for a convention when he was executive vice president of MAR. He's now the president, as I mentioned. It's a great tool. It gives you a lot of different ways to approach how to attract members, how to retain members, how to look for younger members. Work with a consultant. How many of you know that the FJMC and the MAR provide consultants who are experts in whatever field you need them to be experts on? If you want somebody to come here from either within the region or from outside the region to help you with retaining members, we'll pair you up with a consultant. If you want somebody to help you with succession planning, we can pair you up with a consultant. These are people who have been trained to help you, the club person, the club leaders, to do whatever you need done. Speaker subsidy. How many of you know that there is a speaker subsidy if you pair with another club to run one of the FJMC programs that I outlined with you? You can get up to $500 to pay for that speaker if you pair with another club. How many of you know that there is a literature subsidy? I mentioned some of the books that that you can buy on the website. The MAR provides up to $250 per year in subsidy to buy any of the literature that you find on the website. Like I said, the Hearing Men's Voices. I think there's 6 books in the program. Won't cost you $250, but you can run unbelievable amount of programs just from those 6 books. Like I said, Hearing Men's Voices is a great program. Doesn't cost a lot. Attracts men like crazy. So that's what we can do. Okay. And that's the end of my presentation. Do I have any more questions? You asked me a lot of great questions. Hopefully I was able to answer some of them to your satisfaction. Is there any other questions? Yes, sir.
As far as attracting younger members, in your own experience as being active with the overall, are there certain key indicators that you've been able to develop that will attract younger members? Just off the top, I was talking to one potential member, he's not here today, but he thought improving our ability to use social media, Facebook, etc., can help, but I was wondering what tools perhaps you've run across.
I think, well, and this is a question that always comes up, and I don't have one pat answer. There were a few torture words, and I do have a couple handouts for Don on how to attract young people. And the biggest hurdle with attracting younger members is that they're all starting off life a little bit later. They're all having children a little bit later, and they're all busy running with several different jobs. And I think the best way to attract younger members is to design a program around families, around young people and their children. I know one men's club a few years ago, ran a daddy-daughter dance, and that was a great idea. It brought in members. And if you could run a daddy-son softball game or bowling, or anything that you can do to attract men with their families is going to potentially bring them out faster than just having a breakfast.
That was one of our intents with fantasy football.
Right, but you have to get them to come to you. It can't be something that they can sit in their house and look on a computer. They have to come to you. Social media is wonderful, but it's a tool, it's an adjunct. You want them to come to you. You don't want them to sit in their house. I know it was a few years ago, I was listening to this news report. This church developed an online church service. So I mentioned it to the rabbi. He says, that's great, but they sit in their house. They're not part of a community. They're not part of a group. They won't venture outside. So you want them to come to you. So anything you can do to attract young guys and their families will only increase your visibility in the community. Any other questions? No, thank you so much for having me. And like I said, I do have some handouts. I just wanted to share that with you real fast as I give them to Don. So here's a program on Israel. Here's a program on how to build and learn how to blow a shofar. Here's some programming for attracting younger men. Yellow candles. Here's the membership recruitment and retention program I was mentioning that David Breslow wrote. And here's a program that was written by past International President Mark Berlin on how to rebuild your men's club, which is basically an erector set of different things you can do to make your club a little stronger. I downloaded the Quality Club criteria for you. And just here's an example of a brochure from Temple Beth Shalom. Probably a lot of you recognize it, which has already gotten national recognition. So it's a good template if you're looking for a new brochure.
Some reading to do.
Okay.
Bruce, on behalf of the South Jersey Men's Club, I'd like to present you with a certificate. And thanks for coming to speak to us
My
today.
pleasure. All right. Wait, one more?
One more.
All right.
Bruce, part of your duties as speaker is also...
Oh, yes, I have to pick out a winner.
You'll have,
We have a record.
if you'll give it to me and I'll read it.
$150,
Just pick
$50,
it.
$50,
Okay.
$75 to the winner.
All right.
I'll take it because I have announcements to make. Thank you.
It's red. Hey, I got a chance.
Now that I have you in suspense with the winning number of 4 tidbits. Art is going to be hosting a investment club meeting after this meeting. I have a thank you note I wanted to read to you. Please thank all the South Jersey Men's Club members who helped build and take down the community subject at the JCC committee. It simply would not have been possible without your assistance. In the past few years, we have come to depend on your members to make this undertaking a possibility. As this was my first year in taking the lead in this project, I profusely thank you
for coming to my aid. Thousands of people strolled, ate, celebrated, decorated, and enjoyed the community circuit thanks to your efforts.
Oh, Sabrina.
And that's Sabrina, wrote that. So we're very, again, happy to be able to help with that. And to follow up something that Bruce mentioned earlier, we received a very nice thank you from, for Tour de Schools. We did make a $118 donation for Tour de Schools. Alan Finkelstein was our bicycling representative for that. Remember, if you don't have a name tag, see Dick. Well, Jerry, but Dick.
Everybody should have a name tag unless you kiss.
I don't even have a name tag.
It's too bad, don't say one.
Make one out.
I think we missed announcing, we also collect kosher food, so please for that. And if there's any sign-up sheets for any activities that are still circulating out there, if you'll make sure that you get to me or the person that's heading that up, I would appreciate
And
it.
survey forms, anybody have?
And survey forms to this,
And does anybody want the Bible study?
Bible studies.
Not Rich wants to.
And I know everybody does not see the thing about the cultural festival. I'm going to get Randy to send out an email on it.
Okay. The number, and it was
75.
Wow. 07-6647. I know my chances are very slim because I have a blue ticket. This looks red to me.
I got it.
Nelson!
Yay!
25 years and I never won.
Comment?